Today we're gonna make a putting mirror that is basically free, only because I'm using some old DVDs that I'm never gonna watch again. I'm using some graphing paper that I had around the house, 2 different Sharpies. I got a red one and a black one. It doesn't really matter what colors, but those are the colors I chose. A pair of scissors, a pencil, and some sort of straight edge, and we're gonna make this putting mirror that's gonna make you better at putting. All right, so like I said, we need graph paper. This is like, the box is 1/4 inches. I don't think it really matters what it is, but we're just gonna need a DVD. I'm gonna use this knockoff Zootopia DVD. I don't think it even matters. And all we're gonna do is, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna trace it. But when you trace it, you want the center of this smaller hole to have a cross right in the center of it. So I'm gonna zoom in. And if you look, I am trying to center this smaller hole to where a cross is right in the center. On the camera it doesn't really look centered, but in real life it does. I think it's just the weird angle that it's at. So once you have that centered, you're just going to, with your pencil, your writing utensil, trace the inside. I can tell that isn't that centered, so I'm going to trace it again. And then you're going to trace the outside. So right in the center. And so once you have that, you can just move the CD off to the side, and we're going to work just this right here. All right, to make this putting mirror, we want it as like square as possible. That's one of the reasons why we're using graph paper. And so one of the things that we're gonna draw is a reference line for our putter head. And so I'm just gonna use one of these lines, and I'm just gonna draw a line across it like this. And so I know that because this is graph paper, this line, since it's on one of the lines on the graph paper, and these lines are perpendicular, so they're gonna run perpendicular to each other. The other thing I'm gonna do is make sure that I have a big enough slot for a golf ball. And so I'm going to go over 2 this way, and then I'm gonna make a line from the back of the center hole all the way up to the front of the CD. And so I'm calling that the front, the top of the CD, I guess. This will be the front of our putting mirror. And then I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. So I'm gonna go 2 boxes over for 1/4 inch. So we have an inch slot that runs all the way across, and then I'm gonna complete it by doing that. Okay, so far we have this. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to, we're gonna draw some more reference lines. These reference lines are gonna help us aim and help us keep our putter straight through impact. And so I'm going to go from this edge. So if you went 2 just like I did, I'm gonna go probably 4. I'm gonna go 4 to there, and I'm just gonna draw a line all the way to this reference line. And I'm gonna make sure I've followed one of those lines that are perpendicular to this line. I'm going to do the same on this side. So I went 4, so I'm going to go 4 on this side. I'm going to make sure that this is just following that line. And so now I have something that looks like this. And so now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut some stuff out. I'm going to cut this portion out. I'm going to cut this portion off. And I'm going to cut this portion off and this portion off. And so I'm left with this U shape. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that real quick, and I'll be right back. So you can be a little careless with the round edges. Just make sure that this line right here is cut as straight as possible. This line right here is cut as straight as possible, and this line right here be cut as straight as possible. These ones right here can be a little off kiltered. You can fix that later, but this line and this line and this line is important to keep as straight as possible. So I'm gonna take my time on them. And I'm not really following my line, I'm more following the line that I referenced to be perpendicular, so the graph line itself. So now I'm left with this like mustache looking strip. I guess, yeah. This is what I'm gonna use. I'm gonna throw away the rest of the stuff. I'm now going to bring back in my DVD and I'm going to line this up somewhere that I want to do it. So like I'm just matching the curve up here, and once I have it matched here, I'm actually going to tape this. I guess there's one more thing that I needed to do is to have some tape, so I'll be right back. So I got some tape, just some Scotch tape. So I'm going to tape some areas to make sure it stays down to where I want. I'm not going to tape along the whole edges though. I wouldn't do that. I'm just going to tape it in certain spots. So I'm going to put a piece of tape here. Another one here. Just trying to keep it square. Perfect. And then I'm just going to put one more piece right down the center like this. I'm actually going to throw one more piece of tape. I don't like how that one's sticking out, so I'm going to put a piece of tape here, a piece of tape here. Okay, and so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this center piece out. I found out that scissors work really well with this. You might get some cracking, but that's not a big deal. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to follow this line right here. And if you have some sharp scissors, it's going to help out a lot. But I'm just going to follow this line. If you had a bandsaw, that might work better. I tried a scroll saw, but it wasn't really working very well. So I'm just gonna use these scissors and I'm just gonna cut out what I can. And all of this is waste, so once I get kind of to the center, I'm gonna just make some room for me down here. So now I have that center cut out, and so now I'm just going to make my reference line. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to use a Sharpie, and like I said, I want this as straight and almost on that line as possible. I'm going to use my black Sharpie to start off with. I'm just going to put my ruler right on that line that I cut, and then I'm going to draw that line. And I don't really care that I'm not going to get this tape, because I can always go back over this line and make that perfect. So I'm just going to draw this line with a Sharpie and make it as straight as possible. Perfect. And then I'm going to do that to these two reference side lines too. So I'm going to put my ruler my straight edge right on that line. I'm not going to go all the way down. I'm just going to start where that cross line is, and then I'm just going to draw my straight line. And then the same thing on this side. Get this as straight as possible. Do the same thing. Now I can take this little mustache thing off. Now I have something like this. And so, like I said, there's some good disconnected lines, so I'm just going to go back over this with my straight edge and just kind of connect those lines. So like I said, I wanted to use some red in here too, just to have a little bit more contrast. And so next to those black lines right there, I'm just going to put my ruler right on top of that black line. And then I'm going to draw some red right next to it, just to kind of make it pop a little bit more. Not a lot, but I don't know, I kind of like that look. So again, I'm just going to go kind of right on it and color that in. So I got a little bit more contrast in there, and now this is pretty much done. I might clean up this with a file just to kind of get it down there a little bit more, but this is our putting mirror. It's gonna help us do a bunch of stuff, so let's go try it out. I just want to interrupt this video real quick to thank you guys one more time, because about a week ago I was only at 98 subscribers, and today it's over 300 subscribers, almost 400 subscribers. And last week in the video, there's a 100 subscriber giveaway. It is still open until next Sunday. So if you want to join that, go ahead and go watch the previous video. I'll tell you how to join that subscriber giveaway. But I just want to say thank you one more time. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for enjoying these videos. And I'm going to get you right back into the video. Okay, to use this putting mirror, there's a couple different lines on here. This right here is for your club face. So your putter face should be parallel with this line at setup. The two side lines are there to help you line up your putt, but also see where your club face should be at impact to hit the center of the club face with the golf ball. So let's put this on my mat. I have a mat that has a line that goes all the way down it. I'm not really worried about making it into that cup up there. I just want to make sure that when I hit it, it stays on that line. This is a pretty cheap little putting mat that I got for Christmas one year. But all I'm gonna do is put my putting mirror on that line with these lines parallel to it. I am then going to put my golf ball, and I'm gonna use the alignment aid on my golf ball. So if you look here, that has the performance on this Kirkland ball. I'm gonna also line that up with that line. And the reason why I'm doing that is because when I'm not using this putting mirror, I want something to be able to reference my club face to square with, and that's gonna help me have something to do that. Then the reason why it's a mirror is because you want your dominant eye on top of the ball. And so that mirror allows you to make sure that you're over the ball enough to where it's on top of the ball. Then you're gonna place your putter face right on that line, and then you're gonna make sure when you take your stroke, it is in between or close to being in between those two lines. And that was end over end, right on top of that line. That's definitely going to help me. Okay, there you have you guys, a DIY putting mirror that is basically free if you have all of this stuff. If you don't have a DVD that you want to mess up, you can go get one at Walmart for like $3. They have the $3 Walmart DVD bin. If you don't have graph paper, they're like $1.97 there. If you had to buy all of this stuff, I think it would be under $10 to make one of these. If you do not know how to use these, and I didn't really go into depth on how to use it, I'm gonna put some videos in the link in the description to allow you to get the most out of this. There's a lot of videos out there that explain how to use this way better than I did. And the reason why I made this is because in my recent video of doing what Golf Sidekick does, I learned that I suck at putting and I was pulling all of them. And this is definitely gonna help me out, and I hope it helps you guys out. Check out that video right here. And until next time, make your golf your project. Boom!